Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about VM scale sets in Microsoft Azure. So VM scale sets are used if you want to have multiple instances of the VMs running in a set. VM scale set provides you application resiliency as well as high availability for your machines. So let's get started. Virtual machine scale sets, as I mentioned earlier, it lets you create and manage a group of identical load balanced VMs. The number of instances can automatically increase or decrease as per the demand. So if the CPU utilization of the virtual machines go up, the VMs get added automatically to the scale set, which means the scaling is automatic. So scale sets also provide you high availability to your applications. So in this diagram, we can see that we have 3 VMs in a scale set, and we have a load balancer, and we are using a public IP with the load balancer. So when this load balancer gets a request from outside to access the application or the VMs, it sends the request to each and every VM based on round robin. Now let's talk about why we need to use virtual machine scale sets. It's easy to create and manage multiple VMs. So when you create a scale set, you just need to mention the number of VM instances that you want to have. It provides high availability and application resiliency. So if you have an application server, you can have multiple instances of that, so that if the one application server goes down, then you have other application servers to provide you resiliency. It allows your application to automatically scale as resource demand changes. As I said earlier, if your machine or your machine is running out of RAM or CPU utilization, it automatically increases the number of VMs that we have in a scale set. You can scale up to 1,000 machines if you're using the instances from Azure Marketplace. But if you're using your custom VM images, then the limit is 600 VM instances. Let's go to the portal, and I'm going to show you how to create a scale set. So I'm in Azure portal right now. I'll search for VM scale set. I already have one running, so let's create a new one. Let's click on add. So I'm using a free trial account for Azure. This is valid for 30 days. I'm gonna put this scale set into the production prod resource group. Let's give it a name, web application, because I'm gonna use this scale set for my web applications. Region, I'm gonna use Korea Central. Now, due to this COVID-19 situation, there have been instances where if you're using a trial account, you're not able to create machines in US and other regions. So I'm using Korea Central here. But if your users accessing the servers are in India or in any other particular region, then you need to create your scale set in the same region. That is what Microsoft Azure recommends. Next, we need to select the operating system. So I'll go for 2016 or 12, or then we have Oracle, Ubuntu. Based on your requirement, you'll just select the operating system. I'll go for Windows Server 2016 Data Center. Now let's go for the size. Now we need to be careful here while selecting the size. This shows you the price of different VM sizes. So I'll go for P1MS, which is 1,548 rupees per month. So I'll select that. I'll give a username here and then the password. This username and password will be used to access this machines in this scale set. I don't have a Windows Server license, so I'll just say no. Next, I'll go to the disk. Now you need to be careful here. If you go for premium SSD, it's gonna be expensive. The charges will be high. So I'll go for standard HDD. I don't need a data disk for this skill set, so I'll just ignore that. Now here is an important part here, the load balancing. So if you want to use a load balancer for your scale set, then you need to say yes here. And then you get two options here. The one is application gateway, and second is the Azure load balancer. So application gateway is used when you're using HTTP or HTTPS web traffic, and you want to load balance based on the URL. But the traditional Azure load balancer is used if you have, if you're not using the application and you're just using the servers. For example, a Linux server or a Windows server. So I'll go for Azure load balancer, then I'll select the load balancer. I already have one. So let's go to the scaling part. Now, initial instance count. Now this here we can choose how many instances do we want in our scale set. So you can go for 4, 3, 2, whatever. The maximum limit is 1,000. So I'll go for 2. Now scaling policy. Let's go for custom. So I'll say here that I want minimum 2 number of VMs in the scale set, and the maximum is, let's say we go for 6. So that means in this scale set, I'll have minimum 2 VMs and maximum 6. That's the upper limit. When I scale out means if my CPU utilization is 75% for 10 minutes, the number of VMs will increase by, let's say 2. So the number of VMs, running VMs will be 2 plus 2, 4 here, if the CPU utilization is 75% for 10 minutes. And if the CPU utilization goes down to 25%, then I'll say, okay, let's decrease it by 2. So the number of VMs running will get decreased to 2. Collect diagnostic logs for auto scale. You can go for that. It will collect the logs when VM set auto scales itself. Next, go to management. Now you can go for Azure Security Center, which is the internal antivirus protection that Azure provides. Let's go to health. Now, if you have any monitor, if you have any application running on these VMs, you can enable the monitoring of the application health. So if you want that, you can enable it, or I'll just keep it disabled. Let's go to advanced. This is for Linux, the cloud and IT. And you can go for generation 1 and generation 2 VMs here. Generation 2 provides you UEFI based the BIOS system, and it also gives you other features. So I'll go for generation 1. Next, I go to tags. Now, since this is in production, so I'll name it production, and I'll just give it a random number just to tag this resource. Then I'll click on review and create. It will review all the settings that I've chosen and do the final validation. Now validation has passed. So I'll just click on create. It has initialized the deployment. So this is how we need to create a VM scale set in Microsoft Azure. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. I'm gonna put more videos in future, so keep watching my videos. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.